Call of Duty Roads to Victory starts with an intro explaining how in 1942 the 82nd Airborne became the US Army 1st Airborne Division and first one to serve overseas. They started with the Italy campaign and briefly explained their achievements in key World War II operations in 1944. American campaign focuses on 82nd Airborne members fighting in different operations, starting in 1943 during Operation Avalanche in Italy. Derek Warren meets Lieutenant Brown, who gives him a drill. Later, Derek follows Captain Peterson's jeep until it is attacked by Panzer IV, and Warren is told to duck into the nearby trench. Germans are holding strong, and the mission is to push them back before they push the invasion back into the sea. After advancing through the trenches, Warren gets up the hill and helps to destroy the German machine gun and flak battery. US soldiers enter the town of Altavilla and progress through the streets, eliminating Germans on the way. Later, Warren and his teammates reach the high ground and secure a house. From there, he uses binoculars to call in artillery strikes on the German tanks in the distance. The next mission introduces Daniel Ferguson of the 82nd Airborne, who is part of Operation Detroit in France. Since the drop didn't go as planned, most of the units were scattered across the French countryside. Ferguson got stuck in a ruined town along with his squadmate. They are attacked by Germans but manage to defend their position, and they decide to steal a truck and get to Sainte Mère Église. They take a risky move progressing through the town controlled by Jerry's, but luckily they manage to find the church and capture an armored vehicle. Private Jonathan Shepard is in Carentan, France. He was supposed to land west of Utah to take the inland roads for invasion forces, but his plane crashed. Shepard survived the crash and regrouped with other glider teams. They advanced into the town and eliminated enemy resistance fighting through Carentan until they reached and regrouped with their allies. Then Allied forces bravely defend their position from Wehrmacht counterattack. Next mission is taking place in September 1944 somewhere over the Netherlands, with flight officer Paul Van Natta serving as a gunner on a B-24 Liberator plane. His first task is to move forward to the nose of the plane and get in the turret. Once the player is in position, he will begin firing on the anti-aircraft balloons littering the sky. Then the bomber gets attacked by enemy fighters. Soon, the ball gunner gets killed, so Vanada takes his spot fighting with anti-aircraft fire. When the turret breaks, Paul gets back to the tail gun and shoots off more 109s coming at them. When they manage to defend the plane, Vanada prepares to make a bombing run under the lead of a plane named Dangerous Dawn. That way they clear the way for the drops planned for the next day. A few days later, Sergeant Gerald Miller is part of an assault on the bridge at Nijmegen. 82nd needs to take that bridge so the Brits can cruise with their armor. Miller starts in the city center covering a convoy, but soon it gets hit by a Panzerschreck. Miller moves across the street and takes it down, then they move through the city and blow up the building filled with Germans. Millers grab a sniper rifle and eliminate a few enemy snipers, helping others to reach a German HQ. They break into the building and clear it out. Miller helps the convoy to get through the roadblock by sniping the machine gunners. But soon, another Panzerschreck shows up on a balcony and fires at the convoy. Miller gets back on the street and helps the others to capture the roadblock. His teammate informs him that they need to move as Germans have set up artillery encampments in a park overlooking Nijmegen Bridge. That way, they are covering the only route to the bridge. Miller and his squad get to the park and destroy the artillery with explosives. Enemies try to take back their positions, but Miller helps to defend them by grabbing a machine gun. Then he moves to the second 88 gun and manages to plant the charges. A truck filled with Germans shows up and attacks Miller. While fighting with them, he spots another 88. He manages to surprise the crew from the side using a nearby building to corner them. Then he grabs the 88 and uses it against Wehrmacht. Next day, Private Jason Westcott is preparing to take over the bridge. The rowboats take 82nd Airborne soldiers to the other side of the river and a battle begins. After a tough fight on the beach, Westcott and his teammates managed to secure 2 enemy bunkers before they reached the command center, and while securing the building, they grabbed some documents. Progressing forward, they reached the German fort. It is heavily defended by US troops and manages to break the defending snipers and machine gunners and break inside. Westcott blows up the artillery guns that protect the bridge, and that way, the Allied forces can progress forwards to Arnhem. At this point, the campaign switches to the Canadian Calgary Highlanders. On 16 October 1944, Corporal Alan Bradshaw is part of a mission to capture the village of Wunsdrecht. Germans are prepared to defend the territory, and also the terrain is flooded. Bradshaw protects the radio man who desperately tries to call the artillery support under the heavy enemy fire. When they finally manage to connect and send coordinates, artillery destroys enemy positions blocking the way, and Highlanders enter the town. They progress through the streets, eliminating snipers and tanks. They fight bravely until they reach the German HQ and clear the building, and the battle is over. 2 weeks later, Bradshaw is in Walcheren Island, which needs to be taken over so the supply ships can reach Antwerp. There is only one route, a narrow 2-lane road. Canadian Highlanders fight until they manage to advance up the causeway and get to their allies. Later, they blow up a tank and, most importantly, eliminate the flak cannons, sniping their crews. That way, they manage to get a foothold on Walcheren Island. They need to push them back. Highlanders capture a nearby farmhouse and stop enemy vehicles. Then they advance through the creek bed and snipe the Germans on the road. They secure a nearby area and reach an enemy bunker. There they use 88 cannons to destroy the German tanks approaching. Last Canadian mission takes place on 26th of February 1945, and the perspective switches to Corporal Todd Gessinger serving in Northshore regiment. The Germans take out one of the trucks, and they need to defend it to get the supplies to the front lines. They start by clearing German trenches and nearby bunkers. As Gessinger reaches the end, he picks up the Panzerschreck off of the table and takes out the attacking German tanks. Once the tanks have been taken out, German infantry begins charging his position. He uses the machine gun to kill them. Tanks appear. Once Canadians manage to destroy them, the mission is completed. The Great Britain campaign starts in Arnhem on September 17, 1944. Corporal Michael Dabrowa is serving in the 6th Airborne Division. His mission is to take the Arnhem Bridge, while the American 82nd secures the bridge in Nijmegen. His squad destroys the flak cannons protecting the bridge, and Dabrowa covers the rest of the squad while they advance. A glider has crashed nearby, and Germans are advancing upon Dabrowa's wounded friends. He grabs the sniper rifle and picks off the Germans. Dabrowa is then tasked with taking the bridge. He reaches the MG positions and takes them out quickly with grenades. Then he destroys the tank with a sticky bomb, and his team takes over the bridge. But they are only halfway there because now they have to defend it. Soon, they get surrounded by Wehrmacht. They need to hold on until reinforcements arrive. The barricade on the northern end of the bridge has spotted panzers, so Dabrowa needs to get there. He advances through the nearby building and gets approached by a tank upon exiting the building. He grabs the Panzerschreck and takes out the panzers assaulting the barricade. A Tiger tank appears, but British soldiers manage to destroy it and carry on through the street. Soon more tanks show up, so Dabrowa decides to flank them. Though they are heavily guarded by Germans, he manages to fight his way close enough to mark them for an airstrike, and soon they are destroyed. 1 month later, Private Brian Preston takes part in Rhine crossing. Germans are retreating and Allies are pushing them back as fast as they can. Preston must advance down the road with a couple of friendly tanks, using them as cover. Germans have taken up positions in the buildings. As Preston nears the end of the road, a Panzerschreck takes down a tank, and though the British army tries to advance soon, they are overwhelmed by Germans. Preston gets off the street and into the nearby building. Ash exits the building. Germans entrenched in a nearby church open fire. He needs to cover quickly as they have 2 MGs set up. Once he survives, he progresses through the street clearing enemy positions using tanks as cover. At one point, Tiger shows up, but a friendly tank destroys it. Preston takes position on a rooftop and uses a sniper rifle to cover friendly troops as they try to set the charges. Soon it turns out they failed to set them up, so Preston needs to get Dwan and finish the job. He manages to blow up enemy HQ, Allied tanks take out the Tiger tank, and British soldiers take down the Nazi swastika and hoist up the Union flag. And that's how the game ends.